How's it going, everybody? This is Rob of Novakast, back with another video for you guys. And we'll be talking about the Season 1, Episode 6 finale of Loki. There's a lot. There's quite a bit to talk about. And this one, I think ultimately, just my personal opinion, is really setting up some kind of multiversal war between, all of our favorite Marvel characters. Heck, who knows? Maybe with something like this, they introduce characters or obscure characters like Gwenpool or something. I don't know. Honestly, it'd be cool. It'd be really freaking cool. But anyways, so Sylvie and Loki are finally reach the person who created everything, or created the TVA, the timeline, etc. They first have a quick conversation with the cartoon clock lady that we see, who is voiced by Tara Strong, who offers them a deal for at least both of them, where Sylvie could possibly go back to happier times before she was removed from her own timeline, and Loki possibly being in a timeline where he wins. Everybody's, well, at least for him, he's happy. But, and I gotta say, especially for a character like this, like a character like Loki, we really see the growth that he's gone through. Because he doesn't go for it. And kind of like Loki that we saw through Ragnarok and unfortunately Infinity War, he has better goals to a certain degree. He, wants it all to end. He wants to just, defeat whoever's in control and give people their freedom. Fair enough. So eventually they finally meet the one who remains, which I think is a comic, if I remember correctly, or at least from some research I had to do. The one who remains is a individual who, it was like one of the individuals who created the TVA in the comics. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I would love that, if you guys correct me on that one. But we're introduced to a man who apparently not only is able to dodge every attack that Sylvie, is able and tries to pull on this individual, but apparently everything that they say and do is written. So to an extent, they're like, how do we kill a guy that knows every other outcome, or how we're going to do things? It turns out that would be a lie, but in the end, it's just it becomes something a lot bigger, because this individual, who I think is Kang, I believe that's the name of the character, because I think the same guy is coming up in the next Ant-Man movie, and I feel like that this is going to set up something really, I think this is just going to set up something really fucking big. This guy explains how he and other versions of himself found a way to communicate, to trade secrets, to trade technology, share information. And inevitably, even though some people were doing it out of a sign of peace and prosperity, other versions of himself wanted to do this for war, wanted to conquer other realities. And I just realized it's kind of funny that we're talking about multiverses and stuff, since, like, right now I'm playing, I'm on my free time, I'm playing the game, at least as I recorded this. Around the same time, I'm uploading videos for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I just find it funny and kind of coincidental. But anyway, so he talks about, again, how in this point, when it comes down to, I guess the best analogy when it comes down to this guy, this one who remains, he is basically like the lock and key for Pandora's box. And if he dies, if he goes, Pandora's box opens, and the other alternate versions themselves will start popping up and possibly try to eliminate other forms of reality. So that's not good. That's not good at all. So what's to do? They're basically kind of put on the chopping block at this point, Sylvie and Loki. Do we kill him and unleash people far worse than him, or do we just leave him alone? Because at this point there's not much they can do, especially since to an extent that he was stalling them for time, and now as they're communicating, he talks about how they breached the threshold, and you see branches upon branches start to form from the timeline. So it's down to the wire. What's going to happen? And it's between, and it basically was set up very cunningly from The One Who Remains, where you have Sylvie, who is hell-bent on killing this guy, but can't trust anyone, to Loki, who, even though was a bad guy, has learned to be better, but unfortunately has that tendency to not be trusted. So it's only a matter of what are they going to do now. And we have this fight between Sylvie and Loki. Loki tries to stop her, but she unfortunately pulls a kind of really sneaky move where she opens up with this little device that he had, the One Who Remains had, opens up a portal back to the TVA and sends Loki right back into the TVA. Though I think it might be an alternate version now, and I'll explain in a second. Because Sylvie proceeds to then kill the One Who Remains. And she's left alone in the Citadel. As we see, which I'm going to say the CGI for this is fucking gorgeous. And in fact, when the timeline branches, it almost seems like almost like an electrical current to some degree when the branches are made. It's really cool looking. So, anyways, she did it. She killed the One Who Remains. Branches of the timeline are forming faster than the TVA can actually do anything. And Loki pops up, sees Mobius, who, by the way, was able to, to a certain degree, stop Renslayer. Who actually just runs away. Like, literally just runs away from all this, because she knows she's kind of screwed. Mobius and B-15, I think it was B-15, they are able to are there to try to contain the situation, but something's not right, because Loki tries to mention everything that was happening, and they act like they don't know him. And to a certain degree, they are going around, and Loki looks, and instead of seeing statues of the Timekeepers, it's a statue of the One Who Remains. So the question now is, what the fuck is going on? We don't know. I don't think anybody's going to know, at least till season 2, because guess what? Turns out we are getting a season 2. Last credit scene, we see this file that says Laufey-san. Was it Laufey Odin? Oh, I think it was Laufey Odin-san and Loki. Or I think it was just Laufey-san. I'm pretty sure. Just thinking on the top of my head as I do this review. But it says Laufey-san Loki, and then a stamp, and says Loki will return in season 2. So I'm kind of curious. What is this? Because I I feel like, I mean, ultimately, because we have the next Ant-Man movie coming out pretty soon, and I think that goes into the multiverse. Just looking it up. Okay, so the next Ant-Man movie is Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, Quantumania. Then we got the next Doctor Strange movie, which is Multiverse of Madness. We have the next Spider-Man film, who a lot of people have been speculating. I'm not saying this is true. Don't quote me on this. But a lot of people have been on the fence of whether or not this might be a multiverse movie, considering that actors from a variety of the different movies from the 3 Spider-Man franchises. And I'm saying 3 Spider-Man franchises because I'm counting Tom Holland's, Tobey Maguire's, and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man as 3 separate entities at this point. Villains from different movie franchises. So a lot of people are speculating that is a multiverse, movie too. So in the end, I mean, again, I love this show. This show was actually really nice, and that last episode really got me, because I'm kind of puzzled as to what's going to happen now. What are they going to do? What's to come for our characters, especially Loki, who at this point I'm now really invested in. In fact, if anything, it'd be cool to see Loki maybe show up in any future movies, like this version of Loki. In fact, something really cool that I kind of thought would have been a really cool conclusion for episode 6 is, if anything, Loki continuing where the old Loki left off on the timeline. That would have been interesting to see where he would go from there. But at this point, it seems like he's stuck in the TVA. Sylvie killed the one who remains. Other versions of that individual are popping up, or going to pop up in the multiverse, and everybody is royally fucked. At least till the next Avengers movie, so who knows. But anyway, with that, I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. I really enjoyed this last episode, because at this point, really sets up the what's to come. Especially when it comes down to a variety of the films and other sections of the franchise. So, with that, what are your thoughts? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. And if you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.